In our digital world, the concept of a brand has become extremely important in framing our communication. As such, designing a brand is generally a strategic process, with careful consideration. But when I raised the question of an appropriate symbol for what I suspect to be my life's work, I knew instantly what it should be. The two hands holding each other represent the key to all healing, which is love. Love which spans the love of ourselves, our love of being in our body, experiencing life in just this way, and further to our love of others, without which we lack so much that sustains us, perhaps to the extent that we cannot live. On either side of this image of love are two tiers, one of sorrow, one of joy. These are together because if my experiences have taught me anything, it is that in suppressing our sadness, we do the same to our joy. And so the tears of joy and sorrow are equal in importance, equally vital to our health and well-being. And that's why together with love, inside the circle of wholeness, this symbol encompasses the essence of what I feel to be the most worthy pursuit in the world today, of healing, and consequently of awakening to our potential as human beings. At the age of 24, I learned the art of cultivating our energy known as Qigong from Grandmaster Wong Kyu Kit. From then on, as I cultivated awareness of my living energy, I came to appreciate how our experience in life is simply a flow of this energy, with all the feelings and sensations it brings in every moment. With this appreciation of perception, I realized how the mind often inhibits the direct experience of the flow of life. In its quest to guide us in the world, to keep us safe, the mind interprets things with reference to our past experiences and what we learned from them. In this, the mind acts as a filter, which can cloud our perception of what is in front of us, as our senses seek a way through the maze of meaning that is attached to our memories from the past. I came to appreciate the subtle difference between thoughts and feelings. Both are aspects of the experience of life, but whilst one lives in the present, the other has one eye on the past and the other on the future, trying to plot a course with reference to a mental map we've been drawing since the day we were born. In this way, if we have memories or thought patterns that preoccupy us, we can lose our connection to feeling the sensation of the flow of life, which speaks in the language of emotions. I myself have struggled greatly with emotions. In early life, my mental development was nurtured, but I learned early on that screaming and crying were bad and should be suppressed. Consequently, the expression of how I felt was an issue I faced with uncertainty. I reached adulthood with a blunted engagement to the world, a curious, observational detachment. I found people interesting and appealing, but I didn't know how to handle a lot of the feelings interaction brought up in me, and so I became somewhat introverted. But just as I was retreating into myself, an angel appeared in the form of a woman who made me feel that connection to those energies that sustain life. As we entwined and interwove our lives around each other, I reveled in the experience of both love and joy, the sweetest aspects of this life that we share on this tiny globe spinning in the universe. But as I've indicated, life contains not only the happy experience of fulfillment, but also the experience of lack and of our search and struggle to find love and ultimately to lose it. Thus is the richness of our life experience in its entirety. I've told in other films how I sacrificed my experience of the present for the sake of a future that was an idea. This was the mental structure that grew between me and the flow of life. And so it was that life presented a situation where my feeling and emotional engagement were more important than what I believed in. My partner Melissa got life-threatening cancer, and the question presented itself: how will you fight for the future you wish for? With what energy? Sadly, my approach was informed by my ideas about what I should do, and not on being present to what life was giving me. I cannot say whether Melissa would have survived had I allowed myself to feel what was going on, but it certainly would have honored and enriched our final days together. And so it is that I submit to you that our sadness and our joy are two sides of the same coin, and that one cannot exist without the other. And what permits their existence in every moment is the extent to which you're in touch with the feeling of life rather than the meaning, which is nothing more than a string of ideas and judgments from the past. I encourage you to be emotional, to respond to life, to laugh and to cry, because my experience tells me that our health and happiness depend on our connection to the flow of energy that is not an idea of life, but life itself.